Hello, today is September 2nd, 2021, and the time is 2:21 p.m. Can you believe we're already entering fall? Shorter days, colder nights, cooler weather during the day. That time of year. Anyway, this video is inspired by a friend who has recently had something imposed on them unnecessarily, and I just want to briefly go over some history of this type of thing and get to two different points. So over the years, I've talked extensively about, as a descriptive, the lesser of the human gene pool, which is described as those who lack critical thinking skills and extensive knowledge base and who cannot separate emotions when making conclusions. And we see the rise of these types of people in this stage of civilization. We are in the late stage of the last stage of civilization, the age of decadence, again, and we repeat history because history is forgotten either by chance or design, and what always follows is our demise as a civilization. These are the cycles of civilization. I've also talked about the patterns within the cycles of civilization, but that's a different tangent, and I do discuss this in other videos. So we see the rise of this type of person, and you can categorize them with the beta and omega types of the human species. And I know people are going to say, but there's no such thing because we're all equal. No, we're not all equal. Absolutely not. That's a myth. Again, I digress. So we see the rise of this type of person. I've also talked about the rise of the busybody and the glorified busybody, and how the majority that I just described end up obtaining, as well as the busybodies, various positions of authority. Now, it's not to say that everyone in various positions of authority are the lesser of the human gene pool or are busybodies. I'm just generalizing here. I'm trying to get to a point. So we see the rise of the busybody, and I've also talked about, for example, toxic people, and how toxic people you can actually see if you open your eyes and stop doing mental gymnastics. You can see them coming. I've also talked about people who are liabilities in life, whether it be your personal life or your professional life, let's say at work. These people are harder to see because they're nice, they smile, they're not toxic, they're not really meddling, but they do cause more harm than good. But there's another type of person out there. For example, a random person, somebody who may not really be part of your personal life or your professional life or your social life or anything. It could just be someone casually that comes and goes in your life, to someone who just a one-off, some random person. And even at times, somebody who you've never even met before. We see that too as well. And these people cause more harm than good because they create something from nothing, imposing hardship on someone or even society as a whole, because whatever happens to an individual in society impacts society as a whole. For example, injustice. And just to give a brief example, for those of you who've been following my story for a long time or trying to catch up now, what happened to me in 2012 and onward, good example, even recently, say several weeks ago, with somebody that I as a descriptive, call the stupidest person in the world, who made an uninformed conclusion, whatever, who could have avoided the situation that I'm in now, which is worse than I was before. These people are liabilities, but they're like random liabilities, and they cause more harm than good. Now, with age, you, generally speaking, should be able to see toxic people from a mile away. You should be able to see, or at least pick up at some point, someone who is a liability. You want to get rid of them. And then obviously the busybodies they have big neon signs over their heads, and that's a warning, stay away from those kind. You have people who will complain about everyone else, say to you, But know this, that they're also complaining about you to someone else. These people, that's just their nature. Those kind of people, you got to get rid of as well. Classify them as a liability. But these random people that you don't see coming, you can't really prepare for anything from them imposing something. And in their own minds, the mental gymnastics and everything else that manifests something from nothing. Those people are probably the hardest, if not impossible, to detect. Because it's just random. And then all of a sudden, you're dealing with something that they're imposing. And it could start off, they're imposing on you indirectly, and it can very easily turn into imposing on you directly. You just have to be prepared for those types of people if and when they come along. And you have to get rid of them, but you still have to deal with the nonsense that's being imposed by them. We see a rise of this type of thing in today's world, more and more. Just random people, just all of a sudden, boom. And now you're dealing with stuff that you shouldn't have to be dealing with. It's unfortunate. And my story encompasses all that as well. And throughout my life, I've observed, people I know, acquaintances and so forth, dealing with the same type of thing. You can be warned about it, but you'll never see it coming. Now I want to segue using with age, being able to see, learn, you have life experience where younger people don't have that life experience to rely on. That's why younger people are not equal to older people. That's why their opinions, and everyone has an opinion, and opinions are reserved for pineapple on pizza, and I've said this many times in various videos. You can have opinions, but doesn't mean it has any weight to it. But I digress. So, segueing into a different topic, I was talking to someone this morning, and they had mentioned something about they regretted something in their past. And my response to that was, I'm not going to get into what it was, but my response basically was we should be living our lives to not have any regrets or minimize regrets, because we're human beings, we do error, but to live our life with no regret. Now, that's not to be confused with, say, doing wrong to say to someone or whatever, and then doing mental gymnastics to justify, and then saying, I don't regret that. Because those mental gymnastics you're not going to escape from. It's a temporary fix, if you want to call it that. But eventually you're going to come to realize, if you're intelligent, that the wrongs that you've done, those mental gymnastics to justify it, fail. And then you're going to start to see, yes, and then you're going to have regrets. And that's not to forget being accountable once you leave this world and being judged. But that's a different topic. So, try to live your life to have no regrets or minimize those regrets, because those regrets will come back and haunt you. Just things to think about. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.